This is one of the most talented MotoGP grids we've ever had. But talent isn't the problem here. The 2026 season is upon us, and we're going over what every MotoGP rider needs right now. Rats, Cats, and Superglue. What Toprak needs is to remember that he's not on a superbike anymore. You know, the Michelin tire is not so forgiving as the Pirelli. And adaptability. Diogo Moreira. Diogo doesn't need results yet. He just needs time, consistency, and a bike that lets him learn. Because we know the Honda is very unforgiving.
He tips it in. I've been roaming around, always looking down.
Jack Miller needs stability, podiums, and a race win before Yamaha realize he's only good for the first 5 laps of a race. He also needs to learn tire management and stop crashing at random important times in a race. Here we can see the Jack Miller race weekend life cycle. It's all a big pump and dump. Phase 1, the markup. The markup is him going out and topping Friday free practice and booking a spot into Q2. Phase 2, distribution. He starts on the front row. He leads the first 5 laps. Then he burns up his tires and falls back through the grid. Phase 3, the crash. Literally. Alex Rins. Although Rins had a race win in 2023, that was about the only good thing about this year, because his season was basically a horror movie. He broke his leg in Mugello in June. He needed 2 surgeries for that, and an external fixator that made his leg look like some scaffolding. Then he joins Yamaha in 24 and 25. Everybody thinks, okay, Rins is back on the inline 4. He's gonna do good. Surprise, surprise, he didn't do shit! Well, Alex Rins needs to prove that in 2026, he can ride this Yamaha V4 like he did the Suzuki. Because if not, his stock will crash just like Jack Miller's. Luca Marini. What Luca Marini needs is a very good bike for 2026. Because we've seen what he can do on a Ducati. He's pretty good. He's top 5. But when he's not on a good bike, he's basically nowhere. And he has to learn to be more aggressive. And if he ever gives up racing, he can be a model. Because this nigga is handsome, bro.
God damn! Yeah. Fuck!
Don't that
Fuck!
Johann Zarco simply just needs to be more consistent. He's already won a race. He's already put the Honda on multiple podiums in the first half of the 2025 season. But he started to fall off. Which, we're not sure why, but he just needs to be more consistent. Regardless, he's been very instrumental in helping HRC come back. They definitely need to give him as much factory support as they can, because I know last year they were not trying to help him that much. Furman Aldeguer honestly doesn't need anything. He's already made Rookie of the Year, he's been top 5, podiums, and even a race win. I think if he keeps just doing what he's doing now, he's set up for success. Maybe even in the near future he'll get a factory seat at Ducati, I mean, who knows. Next on our list is Ayogura. Unfortunately for Ai, he spent more time in the hospital than he did in the points. In his rookie year, he's had some pretty scary crashes. He's broken his knee, I think his ankle at one point. He's still coming back, but he's just never been the same after those injuries. All Ogura has to do is stay injury free and just get to grips with the Aprilia from early on. We've seen what he's capable of. He can more than well do it. All he has to do is just stay injury free. And beat Raul Fernandez. Raul Fernandez! I don't even know what this guy needs. For the past 3 years, Raul Fernandez has done nothing but put up poor performances, hang around mid-pack, but somehow he still has a spot on the grid, which makes no sense to me. I don't know what Aprilia sees in him, because if it was anybody else, he would have been gone already. Davide Brivio basically said that, you know, he saw untapped potential in him, but dude, 3 years? I don't know, man. Technically it did pay off because he did win in Australia, and the races leading up to that, he's shown much improvement, so I can't rag on him too much. Maverick mentally unstable Vinales. It's no surprise that on his day, Maverick can well fight for a championship, but that's like one day out of the entire season. It was a rocky start with the KTM at first, but then he sure got to grips with it in Qatar where he finished second, but we know what happened there. And for 2026, Vinales and the Mamba Glorioso will team up as his rider coach. Nothing more chaotic can come from this duo. For 2026, all Maverick has to do is just be more consistent. That's literally it. Fabio Di Giannantonio. For For 2026, he needs to really get to grips with this new bike because we saw what happened last year and he was very off and on, and he just can't do that this year because if not, I really think he'll lose his seed. Now, Enea Bastianini's move to KTM was a very interesting one, and it's one that everybody knew would never work. He struggled overall just to adapt because of how different the bike was. He was coming off of a perfect factory Ducati, so in his mind, trying to ride an unruly KTM like that will just never work. What I will say though is that the bike this year was just not that good at all. Even Pedro, the KTM golden boy, couldn't even ride it that well. Later on in the season, Bastianini was able to kind of figure the bike out and get a few podiums, but it was just never a consistent thing.
الصوارم كي تسترد المظالم حتى الأراضي ساموا رسول
Morbidelli, the nicest guy in the paddock, but the biggest menace on track. Morbidelli is no stranger to contact, and he's no stranger to the steward's office either, because this man just loves to dive bomb people. And don't even get me started on the weird contact him and Alish keep having, which, I don't know, there's 22 other people on the grid, why don't you just crash into somebody else? The one thing that will always be funny is the Morbidelli memes. I mean, these things are top tier, dude. I can't wait for the moment this happens. We're gonna see Morbidelli get hung by the Italian flag. In all seriousness, Frankie just has to stay contact free and put up the best results he possibly can. He'll be on the same machine Aldeguer is on, and if Aldeguer outperforms him, then that's a problem. What Joan Mir needs is a Medal of Honor. If you remember anything about him joining Honda, it was just constant crashes over and over and over. Some crashes weren't even his fault. Dirty Alex Marquez. And I figured I'd just throw in some stats here just for the nerds out there. Honestly, all Mir needs is just a bike that will let him do what he's able to do. A lot of Mir's crashes come from him just pushing the bike on the limit. That's literally it. If Honda can give him a bike that can take his kind of pounding.
What made you go with that verse? I don't. What made you with that?
With him scoring podiums in Japan and Malaysia, Honda has definitely improved and brought him a bike that can deliver. What Alex Marquez needs is a different last name. That's it. Brad Binder. After many years of being KTM's golden boy and the only guy who could ride the KTM, Brad just, I don't know, he just fell off one day. For 2026, Brad still has to prove that he's the Sunday man, but he also hasn't had a race win since 2021. That was 5 years ago. He's really on the edge of not making it to 2027, if I'm gonna be honest. And this is the craziest stat of all time because Acosta outqualified Binder in every single race session from start to finish. I understand the KTM that year wasn't good, but you're Brad Binder. Ride the fucking thing. Fabio Quartararo is an interesting case. And I use the word interesting because his loyalty to Yamaha is what's holding him back from greatness. Back in 2024, it was rumored that he was going to go to Aprilia, but he ultimately stayed with Yamaha for 12 million. But can you blame him though? It's 12 million. I would have told Yamaha this.
Them to bring me my money.
But he should have went though. I'm not gonna lie, cause Aprilia is like the best bike right now. But honestly, what Fabio really needs is the V4 to work. That's his last opportunity with Yamaha, and he's gone. Because there's already talks about him going to Honda. I don't know why he would even consider Honda. They just cracked the code in some kind of progress. Contracts and bikes aside, he's about to be 30. His prime years are already gone. He's got maybe like 2 or 3 more left in him. Before he becomes one of MotoGP's what ifs. Jorge Martin. He's the only world champion that's defending his title from a hospital bed. I don't even know what to think about this guy because first he crashes himself off the Aprilia, then all of a sudden he wants to go to Honda of all places because I'm sure he can ride the Honda better than Mir, you know, the bike that tries to kill him every weekend. Now there's rumors of him joining Yamaha in 2027. It just doesn't make sense. This guy doesn't know what he wants. He needs to stop trying to ghost Aprilia and just ride the damn bike. We've seen what Bezzecchi can do on the same bike. And Martin's a world champion, so what's the difference here? He has to beat Marco to prove he's number one, although he'll never be in their eyes because he tried to screw him over. He's also not Marc Marquez, because only Marquez can pull the strings when it comes to contracts and teams. Pedro Acosta, the next Marc Marquez, the golden child of KTM. The number one thing Pedro needs is a Sunday race win. That's literally it. And I fear that if he doesn't win, he's gonna throw a bike at somebody. What I don't get is that he was so strong in 2024, and he just had nothing for 2025. It was almost depressing because we thought he's in for a shot at the title here. And he really needs to stop crashing. Marco Bezzecchi. He's the man that proves you don't need a Desmond Sidici to be a menace. Not even that, but Bezzecchi is also the first person to marry a bike? But seriously, Bezzecchi and Aprilia is one of like the best rider team meetings we've ever had in a long time. The energy is just so natural. All Aprilia has to do is make him his number one priority. Fuck Jorge Martin. We need to focus on Bezzecchi. If Bezzecchi keeps up his current consistent form, there's no way he can't be in a shot for the title. That's all he has to do, theoretically. Francesco Bagnaia. Ay, ay, ay. His 2025 season was one of the worst seasons of his entire MotoGP career. He practically crashed out of like most of the races, but the races he didn't crash out of, he finished out of the points, like in 18th. The biggest problem was that it was either the bike or it was Pecco. He couldn't adapt to the bike, but then his teammate could, and it just didn't make sense. It was weird. So we don't even really know if it's one or the other. For 2026, Bagnaia has to beat Mark. There is no choice, no ifs, ands, or buts. He's already at risk. There's rumors of him getting kicked out for Acosta, and you know this is the guy that also won Ducati 2 world titles. You know, since Stoner. You know that seems kind of fucked up, but hey man, business is business. And please, I can't take another season of looking at this sad face. Marc Marquez. He doesn't need anything for 2026. He's got everything already. He's the world champion. He's basically untouchable. He's got the money, girlfriend. All he needs now is to just win more titles.